Continuation portion of the gram-negative cell wall. It is an integral compartment which contain binding proteins for amino acids, sugars, vitamins, iron and enzymes essential for the bacterial nutrition. These are all present within the gram-negative cell wall. Now coming to the periplasmic space, which are present where the periplasm is present. They may act as a reservoir for the virulence factors and a dynamic flux of macromolecules representing the cell's metabolic status and its response to the environmental factors. Together, the plasma membrane and the cell wall which contains outer membrane, peptidoglycan and periplasm. These three constitute the gram-negative cell wall. So, together the cell wall and the plasma membrane which constitute what? Gram-negative envelope. Now coming to the gram-positive bacteria cell wall. The gram-positive bacteria have cell envelope which is made up of a thick layer of peptidoglycan. So comparing to the gram-negative bacterial cell wall, the gram-positive bacterial cell wall, it is very thick. It has a thick layer of peptidoglycan. Because this, so what happens? The gram-positive bacteria are stained dark blue or violet by gram staining. In the case of the gram-negative, it appears as pink in color due to the counter stain color. Here in gram-positive, they may appear dark blue or violet in color. While gram staining, it is a valuable tool in both clinical and research settings. Not all bacteria can be definitely classified by this technique, but we can most of the bacteria we can differentiate based on this gram staining. And there are also gram variable and gram indeterminate groups are also present. That's why this is not only method which is definitely classifying by this technique is said. Now, it is based on the chemical and physical properties of the cell wall. The gram-positive bacteria appear purple in color. Primarily, it detects the peptidoglycan, which is present in a thick layer in gram-positive. So, according to the gram staining, because of the thick layer of peptidoglycan, most of the primary stain gets absorbed onto this peptidoglycan layer. And the gram-positive results in purple or blue color and gram-negative either in pink or red color. The gram stain is almost always the first step in the identification of bacterial organism, and it is a default stain performed by the laboratories over a sample when no specific culture is referred. So primarily we perform gram staining whenever any specimen comes to the laboratory for identification. In gram-positive bacteria, now check the thickness of the cell wall is 15 to 80 nanometers and it composed of several layers of peptidoglycan. In gram-negative, only one layer is present, whereas in gram-positive, they possess several layers of peptidoglycan. And in gram-positive, they lack outer membrane. But this outer membrane envelope is found in gram-negative bacteria. Running perpendicular to the peptidoglycan sheath, there is a group of molecules and they are also called teichoic acids. So, teichoic acids are the group of molecules which are seen perpendicular to the peptidoglycan sheath and they are unique in gram-positive cell wall. So, the unique characteristics of the gram-positive cell wall is teichoic acids. Actually, they are linear polymers of polyglycerol or polyribitol, which is substituted with phosphates and a few amino acids and sugars. Now about teichoic acid polymers, they are occasionally anchored to the plasma membrane of the gram-positive cell wall, gram-positive bacteria, And they are also called lipothecoic acid and apparently directed outwards at a right angles to the layer of peptidoglycan. I think I have not posted the picture of this gram positive. In the next class, I will post the picture, okay, of the gram positive cell wall. So these thecoic acids are apparently directed outward at right angles, okay. Now, this thecoic acid gives the gram positive cell wall an overall negative charge. So the negative charge within the gram positive cell wall, it is provided by these thecoic acids due to the presence of what? Phosphodiester bonds between the thecoic acid monomers. So this thecoic acid monomers consist of phosphodiester bond which is responsible for providing overall negative charge, okay. Now, the functions of these thecoic acids are not fully known, but it is believed to serve as a chelating agent as a means of adherence for the bacteria. That means, with the help of this thecoic acid, bacteria, it may provide help or it helps in attaching the bacteria to certain surfaces. These are essential to the viability of gram-positive bacteria in the environment, and it may provide chemical and physical protection to the bacteria. That are the functions of thecoic acid. One idea is that they provide a channel of regularly oriented negative charges for threading positively charged substances through complicated peptidoglycan. They provide channel for regularly oriented negative charges. Another theory is proposed that thecoic acids are in some way, they are involved in regulation and assembly of muramic acid subunits, that means peptidoglycan subunits on the outside of the plasma membrane. So, these are under study, okay. There are instances particularly in streptococci. Streptococci is a gram-positive cocci where thecoic acids have been implicated in adherence of the bacteria. So, in the case of streptococci, which is a gram-positive cocci in chains, it is said that this thecoic acid is responsible for the virulence in streptococci. That means helps to adhere the bacteria to the tissue surface. And they are thought to be contributing pathogenicity of gram-positive bacteria. So, it may be thought that thecoic acids are responsible for contributing pathogenicity, okay, by promoting adherence of the bacteria to tissue surfaces. Okay. Next is about damage to the cell wall. So, the cell wall is responsible for what? Bacterial cell survival, and it may provide protection to the bacteria against environmental factors and also antimicrobial stress, and also it may provide shape to the bacteria. So, the cell wall is a principal stress bearing and shape maintaining element in bacteria. Its integrity is important to the viability of a particular cell. So, in both gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, the scaffold of the cell wall, it consists of a cross-linked polymer called peptidoglycan. The cell wall of the gram-negative bacteria is very thin and it comprises of 2 to 5 layers. But in gram-positive bacteria, cell wall is much thicker, 20 to 40 nanometers thick. While the peptidoglycan provides structural framework of the cell, thecoic acids makes up roughly 50% of cell wall material and it controls the overall surface negative charge to the cell wall. What? Thecoic acid. This affects what? Murine hydrolase activity, that is peptidoglycan. Its hydrolase activity, and they measure resistance to antibacterial peptides, and also they provide adherence to the cell surface. Both of these molecules are polymerized on the surface of cytoplasmic membrane. Their precursors are assembled in the cytoplasm. Any event that interferes with the assembling of the peptidoglycan precursors and the transport of that object across the cell membrane, where it will integrate into the cell wall, and this may compromise the integrity. So, what happens is that there is any event which interfere in the assembly. So the peptidoglycan assembly, everything which may takes place, these are all present in the cell wall possess peptidoglycan. So any other factors which may interfere in the assembling this peptidoglycan precursors. And also any objects are transported across the cell membrane where it can be integrated into the cell wall, and this may compromise what? Integrity of the wall. So this may result in damage to the cell wall. So whenever there is a damage to the cell wall, it disturbs what? The state of cell electrolyte. Electrolyte balance is disturbed, which can cause what? Activate death pathways or apoptosis or programmed cell death in a cell, bacterial cell. So the regulated cell death and lysis in bacteria plays an important role in certain developmental processes such as competence and biofilm development. They also play an important role in elimination of damaged cells such as those irreversibly injured by the environmental or antibiotic stress. An example of an antibiotic that interferes with bacterial cell wall synthesis, it is penicillin. So this penicillin, it may interfere in the bacterial cell wall synthesis, that means peptidoglycan assembly. How it may act? This penicillin acts by binding to transpeptidase. So I have already told that there are certain enzymes in the periplasm. So this penicillin acts by binding to this enzyme transpeptidase, and it may cause inhibition of cross-linking of peptidoglycan subunits. So the peptidoglycan subunits doesn't cross-link because of the action of penicillin. They bind on to these enzymes. So it may result in bacterial cell with a damaged cell wall. Why? No peptidoglycan synthesis or no assembling of peptidoglycan subunits takes place. So what happened? Peptidoglycan synthesis doesn't take place. So what? Then it may result in damaged cell wall. The damaged cell wall cannot undergo reproduction by binary fission of the cell, and the cell may at last finally it may cause the death of that bacterial cell. So these are all about cell wall, that is gram-positive cell wall, and whenever there is a damage occurring to the cell wall, it may disturb the state of cell electrolytic balance within the cell wall, and it may cause a change in the shape. The bacteria can't withstand without a improper cell wall. So these are the agents that interfere in cell wall synthesis. What? Antibiotics such as penicillin. So that's all about today's class in bacterial cell wall. In the next class, we can discuss another important morphological feature of a bacterial cell. Thank you all.